Hello everyone, and thanks for joining us on Diplomatic Channel this week. I am Amarachi Ubani. The second Nigeria Diaspora Investment Summit held last week with the theme Leveraging Diaspora Resources for Economic Growth, a growth which the chairman of the Nigeria in Diaspora Commission, Mrs. Abike Dabiri Erewa, says can only be achieved if challenges faced by Nigerians in diaspora are addressed. This year's keynote speaker, former CBN Governor Professor Charles Soludo, called for better synergy between Nigerians in diaspora and the Nigerian government to properly harness their potentials. He also called on the Nigerian government to create conducive environment for investment into the country so that Nigeria can join other global tribes in the drive to harness the diaspora and the development of their homeland.
The Nigerian in the diaspora, as you know, remitted $26 billion according to the World Bank in 2018, which grew from $23 billion according to the World Bank in the year before. Although CBN says they can only acknowledge $2.6 billion, we have to know why the discrepancy is part of what we're going to talk about here today. But the most important thing is the Nigerian diaspora is doing great things all over the world, and you also deserve to vote.
The diaspora is not just some group of people somewhere we are pleading to come to Nigeria and do us a favor, quote unquote. My view is that the diaspora population constitutes the other Nigeria, and therefore the development of Nigeria is not a choice, it is a duty. And I will come to that. And I want to also argue that for this to happen, organization is key. But there is something that distinguishes the diaspora and why they matter so much. The diaspora, on the average person in diaspora has higher level of education and skills relative to the average person in the homeland.
The summit is convened by the NIDCOM in collaboration with Nigeria Diaspora and Alumni Network, NIDAN, and is supported by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Nigeria Investment Promotion Council, the Nigeria Export Promotion Council, and Infrastructure Concession Regulatory Commission. The two-day summit, which held on November 6th and 7th, was aimed at creating an avenue for prospective, meaningful and sustainable diaspora investment to be relied upon to boost economic growth in Nigeria. Now, if you did not know, the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission does have a website which contains information and on its activities. In case you want to check it out, it's ndis.gov.ng. And that being said, shops belonging to Nigerian traders in neighboring Ghana are yet to be reopened. If you remember, there's been some squabble between Nigerian traders and Ghanaian traders in Kumasi. During my conversation with the president of the Ghana Traders Union Association, GUTA, Dr. Joseph Obeng, remember he refused to answer whether or not the shops have been unlocked and traders gone back to work. He tied that to the reopening of the shops to the outcome of discussions with the Nigerian government over goods held this side of the border due to Nigeria's order on border closure. We understand a group claiming to be the coalition of Southeast youth leaders in Nigeria have given the GUTA a 24-hour ultimatum to reopen the shops. The group says GUTA lacks the powers to ascribe to itself the duties of the police or other security agencies in Ghana. Intimidating and harassing Nigerians is totally unacceptable, and we condemn it in its entirety. Their words. I want to bring in the president, Nigerian Traders Association in Ghana, Chief Kizito Obiora, who's currently in Nigeria as we speak. Chief Obiora, could you let us know the situation with the shops that were shut by members of the GUTA a few weeks ago?
Yeah, the shops are still like that. For example, those in Kumasi, I could remember before I left Kumasi, before I left Ghana to Nigeria, that was last week, this week, that was on Tuesday, Wednesday, this week. The whole shop, many shops are still under lock and key. Though there is some group of people called themselves concerned citizen also. And the garages, there is a union there called garages. and the mechanicals. They all group themselves. They are the mechanic people, those who patronize, who normally patronize us in buying goods from us. So they group themselves and they break some of the keys. After breaking it, they also went back and lock it back. And they also, in fact, it's like they are fighting each other before I left Kumasi. That's the situation at Kumasi, at magazine. So at the magazine spare parts sector. But the one in Accra, the one they lock in Accra, electrical side, all the shops are still under lock and key as I'm talking to you. No one has intervened on those places.
Are there negotiations ongoing as regards the opening of the shops?
Honestly speaking, I won't lie to you. As I'm talking to you now, there is no any concrete negotiation on opening it. Only the police will go to the police. Police will just promise us that we should just give them time. They are working on it. They are trying to sort one or two out from Buta executive so that they can come and peacefully open our shop for us. But as I'm talking to you, all the shops are still under lockdown.
What does Guta want at this point? Because when I did speak to the chairman, he claimed shutting down the shops is not a unanimous decision, but that of a few members whose nerves that they've been trying to calm, urging them to desist from shutting the shops belonging to Nigerian traders for whatever reason.
I think it's very, very economic in saying truth because they are all aware of those shops, of locking the whole shop. In fact, they mastermind everything. Their PRO is moving from one media to the other, making it very clear that even they are not going to stop in Accra. But when they finish Kumasi and Accra, they will also go to other regions. They will continue from other regions. So if he said it's not a normal decision, I don't know whom they are trying to deceive.
But has the Nigerian Traders Association heard from the government itself of Ghana concerning this situation?
Actually, yeah, we have been meeting with some government like Kumasi, where I champion. We have interaction with the regional minister, even Swami municipal municipal chief executives. They're all giving us all sort of promises that very soon they will open our shop, that we should not worry ourselves, and at the same time we ourselves, we don't want to engage them in any physical combat or something of that, because I don't think it will help, because too long can never make a right. So we are just patiently waiting for them, but honestly speaking, nothing have done.
Last week, the Nigeria Customs Service announced border closures will continue up until January 2020, when they will be reviewed. Have your members heard this, and what has been the reaction of the Guta to the announcement, if they've also heard?
Yeah, we have the information, but I could remember that there is this thing. There is a negotiation going between Ghana and Nigerian government. I think in a way they will open the border. In a way, they will open the border for Ghana goods to pass, and Nigerian goods will also pass to Ghana. I think this is on the table, and I'm sure that very soon they will come up with an idea or whatever. So I think based on that, Ghana Guta precisely supposed to know that Nigeria have Ghana other West African countries are suffering the same thing Ghana is suffering, but none of them have been given such opportunity. Our people at Burkina Faso normally come and buy goods from Nigeria. Cote d'Ivoire, Liberia, Mali, and so on and so forth. They all buy goods from Nigeria, but none of them have been given such opportunity. It's only Ghana that has such opportunity. I think they're supposed to at least they're supposed to applaud our government by giving Ghana such an opportunity.
Thanks again, Chief Obiora.
Yeah.
Let's check in on other discussions in diplomatic circles in a quick break. We'll be right back.
3 French women who escaped from a camp for suspected jihadists in northern Syria say they want to come home and face whatever legal action France requires over their alleged links to the Islamic State militant group. The women, who declined to give their names, suggested they were prepared to go to France for the sake of their children, adding that the conditions in the camp in Ain Issa, run by the US-backed Syrian Democratic Forces, had been very hard. They gave no details of their life before detention and are believed to be among the wives and children of former IS fighters killed or detained after the jihadist group was expelled from its strongholds in Iraq and Syria. France has said citizens who joined the militant group, which operated in both Syria and Iraq, should be tried near where crimes were committed. Iran's President Hassan Rouhani says the country has discovered a new oil field southwest of the country that has the potential to boost its reserves by about a third. He made the announcement during a televised speech in the central city of Yazd on Sunday. The field stretches over 2,400 square kilometers in the oil-rich Khuzestan province. Iran already ranks as the world's fourth largest reserve holders of oil and the second largest holder of gas reserves, according to the U.S. Energy Information Administration. It had an estimated 157 billion barrels of proven crude oil reserves in January 2018, and this despite the U.S. imposed sanctions to strangle its vital oil trade. Iran has begun plans to set up a second nuclear power plant, a key step in building the facility with Russian help in the southern part of Bushehr. Head of the Atomic Energy Organization of Iran, Ali Akbar Salehi, says nuclear power provides reliable electricity and each power plant saves the country 11 million barrels of oil or $660 million per year. The United States plans to allow Russian, Chinese and European companies to continue work at Iranian facilities to make it harder for Iran to develop a nuclear weapon. The Trump administration would let work go forward by issuing waivers to sanctions that bar non-US firms from dealing with the Atomic Energy Organization of Iran.